Hey everybody, I went out this afternoon on the spur of the moment looking for some woodwork for one of my tanks, and I shot a bunch of video on my head cam and driving around from place to place, but I never really shot any opening sequence to introduce the video. We just sort of started by walking on down to the water's edge. So this is going to be your intro to the video, and so that's exactly what we're going to see. We're going to start by going out to Pretty Boy Reservoir. I found a few pieces there, and then we went from there on out to another spot I know called Graves Run, and we found a single piece there. So I'm not sure what we're going to do with them yet, but you can watch the video and find out what we got, see me bringing them home, etc., etc. So sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you real soon. That's going to be light as a cork. This one is going to be light as a cork as well, but I still think we're going to take that one. Let's see what this is. It's not bad. All this stuff will float like a cork. It's so hard to find anything good this time of year because of the leaves. Well, you can see when the wind's blowing, it's current, even all the way back here, you can see why everything ends up back here. It's a really windy day. If we get out on the point there, you'll see what the water looks like, and you'll see why we're not on the kayak and we're out here on foot today. Now, you often hear me talk about the piece of wood I've got in my 40-gallon tank and how I've cut pieces of that off and so on and so forth. That came out of this body of water right in here. It should still be sitting in here somewhere. It's just so hard to see with all the leaves on the water. Alright, well, we got those two pieces over there, so let's go out on the point and have a look at what the wind actually looks like on the water today. Alright everybody, that was stupid windy and pretty cold to boot. So we did find a couple of pieces that I think were significant. I don't know how well they're going to work out. I'm pretty sure that one's probably going to float, and so we'll get them in there and start having a look at what they look like. As I've said before, even as we set the tank up the way it is now, nothing's permanent. If I don't like it, we can always do something else, you know, change it around, try something different. But we are going to try one more spot before we get home, and we're going to see if we can't find any wood there. So sit tight, and we're going to head on up to Graves Run. We're going to Alright, so this is where Graves Run flows into Pretty Boy Reservoir. Everything downstream from the little bridge right there is the reservoir, and anything upstream of that is still officially Graves Run. So I had a little quick look around, and I don't really see anything. We've had some really serious rains, and as you may or may not be able to tell, it is just clean through here. I was expecting to see some branches and some woodwork kind of trapped and stuck down in the mud. Over the course of the summer, I've actually found some really nice looking pieces of woodwork back here over the years. And so what we're going to do now is we're going to go on the other side. There's a trail that goes down along the water's edge and goes way on down in there, and so I'm going to have a little bit of a look down there, I think, and have a little look across the street here and just a look around in general while I'm here. But as I promised you, we would see a little bit of scenery while we're here too, and so this also will give you an idea of the kind of stuff I use for inspiration. I know this isn't actually in the water, but you can see all of these huge rocks jutting up out of the ground with the moss growing on them and fern growing all over them. I like to see something similar to that underwater, except, you know, I've got Java moss growing off of the rocks instead of Christmas fern, or I've got Java fern attached to everything instead of the sphagnum moss. But you get that same sort of feel from everything that's going on around here. I have also found good pieces of wood just sort of stuck down in the mud on the side of the road, so don't ever underestimate the value of picking up a piece of wood you found on the side of the road. So let us have a quick look down here. In fact, stuff like that is exactly what I'm talking about, but that doesn't look right for me. So we will start by just having a look right over the edge and see what we can see. Well, one thing we can see is they've done some new construction. I have a really good looking piece of wood once upon a time that I got that was wedged up against this, but that's all cleaned out. Those rains we got and all that water rushing through here really did a number on it. There's just no good looking pieces of wood lying around anywhere. So I'm going to keep meandering around, and what I'm probably going to wind up doing is heading on back to the house with what we've already got. But in the meantime, like I said, I'm gonna there's just nothing around. There's really not. It's surprising. So sorry, I keep tilting the camera down. I got the you don't need to know why I keep tilting the camera down. Sorry, I keep angling the camera down when I'm not paying attention to where I'm looking. So anyway, I think that's about it for our outdoorsiness. Unless I find some other piece of interesting wood, I'll go ahead and we'll get that on video. But otherwise, I'm just going to say I will see you back at the tank. All right, everybody, I was making my way out of here, and as I mentioned on the way in fact, this very spot is where we first pointed out that if you look down along the side of the road and you look in some of these nooks and crannies, some of these pieces might be worthwhile. And I looked at that one and I said, no, that's not really going to suit my needs. That's not what I'm looking for. But then I stopped on the way out and actually picked it up and looked at it. And it's very much hollow on the underside. Feels really heavy, so I'm almost positive it would sink right away. This end that I'm holding might be a little floaty, but it is heavy. So we're going to take this piece back too. So there you go. Right there, literally by the side of the road, tucked up against the guardrail, is the piece we're going to wind up taking on home. So that's our wrap. All right, everybody, we have made it back to the house, and before we get these pieces of wood into the tank, we need to get them washed up, and we need to find out whether or not they're going to float or sink, and we're going to do that in the pond out here. And in this video, we're not actually going to get them into the tank. That's going to be part of a standalone video where I do the aquascaping, and we're going to put some rocks in there, and that might even be on tonight's live stream. I'm not sure exactly where that's going to happen, but we will be doing the whole woodwork thing in the tank in a standalone video. In the meantime, I'm going to show you briefly how I get the woodwork washed up and cleaned up and ready to go in the tank. It's not a big complicated process. I literally just squirt it down with a hose, and then we're going to see if it sinks. So let us come over here and have a look at what we got. So first of all, this is the piece, probably my least favorite, but the one that might be the most effective. You can see it's got a fairly deep channel in the bottom there, and so that may lay in there just like that on the bottom. Again, I know that's not anything really exciting, whereas this one actually has some texture, and so that can, you know, that can go in regardless. They'll be small enough that those two could go in together, even if both of these wind up going in. And then this one is my favorite. This one has so much hollow openings, and I don't know if the fish can swim all the way through there or not, but there are certainly gaps and cracks where they could. Just the whole thing is fantastic looking. But I think this one's going to float like a cork. In fact, we can throw this in the pond right here real quickly. Yeah, I can see it bobbing along right there. It is touching the top of that container, but it is also very clearly floating in the water. So we're just going to go ahead and leave that one in there. We don't even need to wash that one up. And so these are probably the two we're going to be working with. And so to wash these up, it's literally just a matter of getting in there. Now I'll probably get out here with a little soft bristle scrub brush, maybe like a brass brush, a wire brush or something, and get in here and give these a little more of a serious scrubbing. If there's any rotten wood where the wood itself is really soft, like in here, maybe I might get in there with a brush and scrape that out. But I don't bother with any kind of boiling it. We don't worry about getting in there and sterilizing it. I don't soak it in bleach or hydrogen peroxide or anything. I just give it a good rinse out and a good washing. This one might not look too bad once we get it all cleaned up. So all right, everybody, there you go. I'm going to say thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed your little spontaneous outing with me. I just kind of did this on the spur of the moment, and the video also has been a little bit of spur of the moment, but we got it done. So these are the pieces of wood I've got to work with right now. I'm not none of them are exactly what I was looking for, but all of them are suitable. So probably going to start working with them. And as I said earlier, don't know if it made the cut for the video or not, but I did mention earlier that none of this is permanent. If I don't like it, I can always take it out of there. Again, this is going to be part of the tinkering process, and we'll get that in its own sort of standalone video when I get in there and start, you know, messing around with the woodwork and whatnot. So make sure you're subscribed. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss my live streams. Again, Friday night we did a lot of work in the tank that this is going to be going in, and we got it ready for all this stuff. And tonight, Sunday night, I do a Sunday night live stream as well. Usually it is a Q&A, but tonight we may actually be doing a little bit of work in there and getting in there and working on some of this woodwork and whatnot. So you never know what you're going to get with me. Again, subscribe, ring that bell, do all that good YouTube stuff. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed your trip with me. I'll see you real soon in the next one.